Hi guys! Ooh, no, I shouldn't say guys. Hi Shadow Cats, welcome to this episode of The Dark Side TDS, and this is where we talk about the positives and the negatives of life. And as of what I've mentioned last episode, I'm gonna talk about my mom and having and managing difficult relationships, especially with your family. So, wow, where to start? So just so you guys know, okay, let's start from very beginning. Okay, as in my family construct is that I have two sisters and I'm the youngest. So being the youngest means that you can do everything you want, right? And then not get blamed. But then I think I'm kind of obedient. I don't really get into trouble much. So I kind of am a little bit more privileged in a way whereby that my parents will probably get things for me if I want, but there is a catch to it. Like for example, I remember at primary three, I wanted a Beyblade so badly, because they said back then Beyblade was the craze, and then they said like, okay, if you want the Beyblade, then you go and get like 3 A's for your exams. So there were 4 subjects: English, Math, Science, and Chinese. So I think at the end of the day, one of the semester, I did get 3 A's and I got my Beyblade. So that's great. I think they were trying to motivate me in a sense whereby it's always like they will reward me if I do well for something. Yeah, so and I think intellectually I'm still okay. So most of the times I do get the rewards. So my mom has doted on me, and since young she was always at home because my dad is the sole breadwinner. So my mom will like watch K-pop, no, not K-pop, K-dramas, cry over like Winter Sonata. I always see her. She was mostly not really working at home, so we interacted a lot more. Okay, yeah, maybe that's like a mother-son thing. I'm not so sure. Maybe normally for like Chinese household, it's like the mother will dote on the son more, and then the father will dote on the daughter more. I'm not so sure if it applies to you guys as well. So that was the case for me, I think. Okay, and then yeah, but then my mom was very as I mentioned, right, she is the person that will say no. If there's a situation, let's say if I want to go to the playground, my mom will say no, but then my dad will say yes, and then there was always a conflict, right? And it really depends on who I ask first. Okay, so if I ask my mom first, then it's a definite no, but if I ask my dad first, then there might be a chance that I might be able to go, right? So that was basically the dynamics for my family. And so as I had a very like striking incident that happened when I was young. Okay, so when I was young, right, because my parents' room was away from my room, so normally we'll go in and just sit down and then look around. So one day, right, I think I was about 5, so I picked up a lipstick and I stared at it. I was like, ooh, okay, maybe I can try to apply it. So I tried applying it. It was red, okay. And to my horror, I didn't know it was so soft. It broke. I was like, shit, I'm dead. Like, how am I gonna? So I just stuffed the broken part back into the tube. And then I tried to clean off, but I don't have makeup remover, and I didn't even know what is a makeup remover. So I was like, okay, then just hiding in my room. And then when my mom came back, uh, she saw my face and she like yelled at me, screamed at me, blah blah blah. I'm not sure if it was an expensive brand. Yeah, but she was really really upset. Okay, and then I think throughout my education days, not so much of a problem. And when I had to pick after my O levels, I scored like about 13 points. I wanted to go into like maybe veterinarian. Like I wanted to be a animal doctor back then. She didn't really like stop me and like say like certain family, right, they'll be like, no, do finance or like do banking or like do property or like do business, right? But no, like my mom gave me the freedom to choose what I want because that's what she believes, and I'm very thankful for that, honestly. So I picked the first choice was actually biotechnology in Singapore Poly, and the second choice was biotechnology in Temasek Poly, and the third choice was creative media. Okay, I was just one line away from media. And I got chosen into biotechnology in Temasek Poly, which was quite far away, to be honest. Not a very good choice because I stay in the central area. So it takes me about 1.5 hours to travel. So yeah, I'm very thankful for her letting me choose what I want. Okay, so then in poly I started cosplaying, right, as I've mentioned. So with like pomegranate and grape. So we cosplayed 1 year. That was the start. That was in 2019. Yeah. So when that happened, right, I realized there was a shift in her. She was like, "What's happening? Why are you doing this? Like, why are you like putting on makeup and looking weird and stuff?" And back then I was in the age of exploration whereby I had long hair. I was very androgynous, and she wasn't a fan of it. She didn't really like it. She didn't understand like why I have to dye my hair, why I have to like grow it so long. Also, there's this funny thing, right? Because my mom has a lot of white hair, so she always dyes her hair like darker, but she forbid our family members to dye our hair because she thinks that you all are just wasting your black hair. And the funny thing is I always dye it so light, and then she always like, we always have a lot of like squabbles because of that. We don't see eye to eye to this detail especially. So to this date, like sometimes when I go back, she'll be like, yeah, you damage your hair what? But then I'm like, I like it what? No one can see if I have white hair now because it's literally white everywhere. So yeah, that's the dynamics that we have at home. So when I started cosplaying, she asked me like, is this like gonna go on for a long time or what? I said, oh, it's just trying things out and see how it goes, right? 15 years later, I'm still doing it. But anyways, so when I was about to get into army, she was like asking me like, so are you still doing that? And I'm like, oh, it depends lor. I mean, if I can, I can. If I can't, I don't know. Then, she's like, just stop it lah. Like you are being such a like, don't think you look like a clown. Wow, that was really hurtful, man. Like, maybe my makeup skills were not that great or what, I don't know. But I felt like, oh, I'm just having fun. I'm not even doing like drugs, or some of my like other cousins, they have like gambling issues. I'm just like putting on makeup, trying to be a character that I watch and I like. Now, what's so harmful about this, right? And so, eventually, as I have broken up with eggplant, okay, so I started venturing more into K-pop makeup. Okay, so that was like during COVID as well. So a lot more makeup. And in COVID, we are like seeing each other almost 24/7. So there's a lot of issues whereby, firstly, our timetable don't match. Like, she's a very early person and I'm a very late person. So I will like probably sleep at 2 or 3 a.m. and she'll sleep at like 10 to 11 p.m. and she'll wake up at 6 a.m. Sometimes when she goes to the toilet in the middle of the night, she'll see that I'm still awake. And then she'll think that, oh, I am just like wasting my life away. It can be because I'm doing video editing, but sometimes I might be playing games as well. But like, our life is very different, and because of that, that has caused a lot of like friction, I would say. There's many small things that came about from this friction. It can be like, just parents, they would like want you to wash your dishes and cups immediately when you finish drinking it. And for me it's like 2 to 3 a.m. already. Maybe I'm a bit lazy, yes, I do admit that, but can't I just do it at a later time? But as I said, she woke up and she wakes up at 6 to 7. So this is a problem to her, and I get like, she gets irritated, she yells at me, I get irritated, So this thing has been going on for quite some time. And then so one of the days, right, also like sometimes I hate it when they, because of the weather, it's very hard to predict. And oldies, they like to sun their clothes. So I need to be in charge of like keeping the clothes. And back then I'm still a tutor and I still do tutoring, like from house to house. So I will sometimes leave the house and then I see like, oh, it's sunny, right? So it should be fine for like about 1.5 hours. And then the moment I leave the house and maybe half an hour later it starts raining, then I'm dead because the clothes are wet and I need to like wash them again and dry them again, and then she'll definitely give me a scolding or something. But the thing is, I'm not a magician. I cannot predict when it will rain or when it wouldn't rain, right? And there are times where it looks very cloudy, I kept all the clothes. And then when she comes back, she's like, why are the clothes not sun? Because suddenly the sun comes up. And then I get scolded for that as well. And it's like, wow, it's so tiring. Like, to do this kind of things and to keep close and all. Okay, so that was, I think, part of the thing that kind of, doesn't gel well because of our personality and because of our schedules. And then she was bugging me to go and find a full-time job. So especially during COVID, she was like, I know you just graduated from NTU chemistry, but you just go and get a random job, okay? Like, just go. And she gave me random stuff like librarian or like cashier at somewhere, or like admin job from somewhere. So back then I was still doing tuition, and then I feel like the amount that I'm earning is almost similar to whatever she's giving. It's just that there's no CPF. I really hate it to be in a company or in a structure whereby there's a lot of hierarchy, and especially I need to log like 9 to 6. It doesn't make sense, right? If I can earn the same amount with less than half of the time, then what the hell am I doing there? I really respect my freedom a lot. I really cherish my freedom a lot. And she cannot see that. So there's a lot of times where we quarrel because of this, because she thinks that I'm not doing anything, but I am still teaching you, right? So so slowly, like, I think because of COVID, I slowly found out like why she was so against my makeup career or like my content creation, because sometimes I cosplay and I like to do long hair characters, and some people might think that they are like females, and so she doesn't really like it when I get misgendered. But honestly, that's the whole point of like pretty boys, right? If not, why would I cosplay? Then I can just do a short hair character. But then again, it makes me feel like I'm portraying the character well, so that's why I do them, because that's my strength. Not everyone can do them, right? Like, some people have muscles, then you go and do muscular characters. And if I have a prettier face, then I just do prettier boy characters. And it is more accurate, isn't it? So she told me that once, that I think before I was born, like, she did this like palm reading or whatever, and she told me like, me, okay, specifically, I will be doing makeup, and then it's a path of something, okay? And that's something that she doesn't want, okay? And then so that's why she tried so hard to forbid me from doing makeup. So but here's the thing, right? People's like really weird. So like, what people ask you to stop doing, you will pursue it, right? Maybe because we're just stubborn like that, or maybe it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because like, she tried so hard to like stop me from this thing, but I still do it. Like, I really relate when some cosplayers that I see nowadays, they'll be like, oh, my mom doesn't allow me to do this, my mom doesn't allow me to cosplay, my mom doesn't allow me to wear contact lens. I totally felt that, because when I was younger, that was the same thing I had as well. And I had to like secretly go to my friend's house, dress up and go to the event, and then to remove my entire makeup before I come back. So sometimes I felt like there was a turning point. Like, sometimes I get exposure on like news. I was featured on like newspaper, on like Straits Times. So but this would be her reaction. So this was like from my cousin, right? So my cousin's mom, which is my aunt, said, hey, like, your son is on the newspaper. Then this is her reaction. Wow, why are you doing makeup? That is like not even 3 seconds of like rejoice or happiness, and then she went into the, why are you doing this? I'm not even doing anything harmful, and I don't understand why she cannot be fully happy for me. But then again, I need to remember, back in her days, it's not possible for like maybe a guy to be so flamboyant with the makeup, or to be like doing cosplay or whatsoever. So she wouldn't understand. And also on social media, or maybe like receiving sponsors for like skincare, or like maybe making money through making a post with skincare or makeup. It is impossible, right? As in, because she's like, I think, a good 32 years old older than me. So yeah, she wouldn't understand that, and I tried to relate as much as possible. But there was one time, right? I think we had a very huge quarrel, and then she kept persuading me to stop doing like makeup and cosplay, and then she stomped off. So just nice, I was also going to work, which is I need to go and teach. So I was like, okay. So I went to go and teach, okay. And then so scrolling back, sorry, I'm a bit lost. Okay, so before she stomped off, she said something really horrible, which I remember to date. Okay, and she said, "It feels as if I have given birth to a freak." Okay, a freak. I was very upset, of course. I didn't cry because I'm not someone that very in touch with my emotions, but I was just rolling my eyes like, wow, even like my birth mom would say something like that. I was kind of shocked that that was how she felt, because I mean, like, so you think like I'm a freak just because I do makeup and all? And then, as I mentioned, so I went to work, right? Then it so happened that we boarded the same bus, and I could see that she was crying. I was like, whoa. Was the impact that great to the point that she was crying? It's just me cosplaying, or like, I don't know, back then maybe do like visual K makeup, And just because she cannot get her point across, she's so upset. I knew that like we have very different opinions and values in life, so it's very tough to like continue life like this, right? So, um, I felt like there was a turning point when, okay, so during COVID, right? I think one of my overseas friend came to Singapore to find a job. Okay, so just being nice, because like my room is pretty okay to house someone else. So I offered that, like, maybe, and I asked my family as well if I can offer a small space for this person also. So because it's in my room, right? Then this person can stay in my room. Okay, let's just call him Strawberry. So Strawberry also lives together with me. So, and my room. So then that was the year where I've gotten a cat as well. So Sandwich, that you have just saw. So yeah, we take care of Sandwich. So, but my mom doesn't really like cats and dogs. I have a dog at home as well, but he is very old. He's about, I think, more than 10 years old, and currently his situation is not that great. Yeah, but that dog was the dog that my mom picked up from a litter that was about to be thrown away. So, like, but my mom is like a 5 minute kind of person. Like, she decided to save the dog there and then, but she don't want to take care of it forever. So my elder sister, took care of the dog, which is Chester. Okay, and then sometimes at home, my mom will grumble about like, why is the fur everywhere? Why is the smell so bad? The saliva, the poop, this, that. But at the end of the day, it's like, you saved this dog, right? So shouldn't you like do the entirety of it? It's not just like, oh, I save you for a short while and I just see you die. So she kind of have to eat her own shit sandwich, okay? Because no choice, she started something, she gotta do it to the end. So so the dog lives in my place, and then Sandwich lives in my place. So that was that. Okay, and then so because I live like in a pretty high like story, so more than 10. So I have a very old like rubbish disposal compartment in my house, where you need to leave it open and then you can throw it away, and it's very rusty and it's very old. Okay, so the thing was, sometimes if you don't close properly, right, the entire lid will open up. Okay, and that was the fear that I've always had. So just one fine Sunday, I woke up at about 1 p.m. Okay, had a very late night, and I couldn't find Sandwich. Okay, I went everywhere, and he was gone. So I looked at the lid and it was open. Okay. I was like, okay, let's not assume the worst. Let's just find everywhere else. And then I tried looking for half an hour and I was like, okay, something's wrong. He's not at the bench. He's not at his usual spot. He's not in the toilet. He's not under the table. It was starting to get scary and I was like, what the fuck? What if he jumped down? Because it's more than 10-story high in the rubbish chute. And at 1 p.m. is where people already had their dinner. And sometimes I remember things that I throw down, like imagine like glass bottles and stuff. Will he be alive? So I quickly ran down to the rubbish the rubbish place, okay, so where it is collected, okay, there's this main collection. I saw the foreign worker and I was like, can you help me open the door? I think my cat is inside. And then he was like, okay, no, it's not possible. I said, you just open the door, I just want to check. Lo and behold, when he opened it, I saw a white trembling figure drenched in watermelon seeds, chicken bones and gravy. I brought him out. He was so smelly and dripping with so much rubbish and weird solution. But I was crying when I did that because I felt like, oh my goodness, like, firstly, he was there. Secondly, he's alive. Thirdly, I felt so sorry for this cat. So I quickly brought him up home, showered him, and then quickly run to a vet because I want to make sure that his internal organs are okay, because I don't know what was his thought process when jumping down. Was it a wee and then land, or was it a bounce, okay? So brought him to the vet and then he was okay. The vet just said that, oh, he's totally fine, it's just that he got a lot of poop that he haven't pooped. That was that. He was on the oxygen tank for a while. He's a bit trembling, but I was very upset lah because I knew that my family, or sometimes my mom specifically doesn't close the rubbish chute very properly, and it has happened a few times already. So I always remind her to close it properly. So as in my mom and my sister, I immediately texted my sisters when this happened, okay, and then they knew about everything, like from not finding him to finding him to finding him in the chute to bringing him to the vet. So they were very worried, obviously. So in the night, right, so normally they will go to my grandma's house back then, and then they will come back. So my mom came back first and then she saw me. Her first reaction was, when she saw the cat, was, wow, he haven't died. I'm rolling my eyes, by the way. So I was like, I say, I don't want to quarrel with you, but can you just close the chute properly next time? That's all I said. I didn't even want to flare up. I didn't want to say anything. And her reaction was, this is my house. If you're not happy, don't tell me what to do, because this is my house. I was so mad. I was like, okay, fine, this is your house, this is your rules, I'm gonna get out of here. That was my last straw, so as to why am I still even there? I have really kept up with so many things. I've already tolerated so much shit, okay? Because of our differences, it is really something that I cannot just like, I really hate it when they say that. I understand it's your house, obviously I'm poor, I cannot afford a house, and like, what do you expect, right? So that was the moment I felt like, okay, you know what, I gotta go, because this is for my own sanity and for the cat's livelihood as well, right? I mean, if you don't really see a compassion of it, and which I know some people don't, then so be it, because it's not your pet anyways. I gotta leave. Okay, so eventually I found a space to stay together with Strawberry and another friend. Okay, so that was the deciding factor for me. Obviously, it was a very expensive decision, because remember, back then it was still during COVID. I wasn't earning that well. as I said, I think I was only earning like 2k plus, okay? And it was, back then I felt it was okay, because like COVID, I just graduated. I was like, oh, I'm earning month to month. I'm not paying rent, what? So 2k is like, you won't die, but it's not a lot, okay? So, but then I had to rent somewhere, and then the rent was like now $700-800. I was like, holy shit, if I only earn 2k and after minusing that $700-800, I'm just left with 1,001 or 1,002. How is that enough for me to survive? So that was when I realized that, you know what, the way I'm freelancing is not efficient, because I was only working like maybe 4 to 5 hours a week, and I felt, oh, that's fine. I did my math and I'm like, okay, I need to double this amount, find more students, then I can make like maybe like about 4k a month, right? So I was like, holy shit, this lit a fire up my ass, and it made me more independent in a way, because I feel like we've taken a lot of things for granted, okay? Because I'll talk more about that in living alone, okay, and renting out, okay, in the next episode. But really, a lot of things such as like washing your clothes, washing the dishes, cleaning the floor, sweeping the floor. I think all these, because I had a helper, so I never really experienced all of this. Folding your clothes, I tell you, because I'm a very messy person, right? Always my clothes is always in a mess, and I will pull and the whole thing will drop, and I always ask the helper, can you just help me? So when I come back, it will be magically packed again. But as I lived alone, I realized that, oh my god, my place is really messy. And because I film a lot, so like I will have makeup everywhere, I will have like, clothes everywhere as well. So that is a problem, and that causes like, it's unsightly lah, and that makes me really need to have more patience, and makes me that I need to really think about how to pack and when to pack, and give time to pack as well. So making that step, honestly, it was a little bit like harsh, but at the same time it was something I felt like I really need to do. So I gave myself 1 month to find a place together with a few friends, and I managed to find a place that was quite near, okay, but I didn't really want to tell my mom where I stayed, because like she would come up if she knew that it was just a bridge and a few blocks away, right? So I told her it was another venue, it was another place, but yeah, my sisters, they knew where I stayed lah, so I still remain contactable. But I felt like really after my first month into like learning independence and staying away from home, right, I really learned a lot, and I really became a lot independent, and I felt like I also told my family that I would like come back once a week, okay, to have a family dinner at least, okay. So like, just like my second sister was married, like we come back like once a week, so we try to match our schedule to have dinner at least. So this is where we like connect once a week. So this short period of time, like 2 to 3 hours, so she wouldn't find so much fault with me. I'll have lesser interaction with her, and she'll probably cook food that like I like, So it really lessened the interaction and friction between us, because we have lesser time to brew anything, right? Because sometimes like really distance make the heart ponder, So because I don't see her as much, she appreciate every time that I meet her. So I'm not so sure if this is something that, if you guys have any problem with your family, this is what you should do. But I really think that like staying alone helped me to be a lot more mentally more alive, because I don't need to be in the control of other people. Like for example, I can eat whenever I want, I can sleep whenever I want, I can like eat on the bed, I can like, it's just my choice to do my things, It's so liberating to have this freedom, because I've never had it for like 24 years or so. So I felt like that was the right decision for me, although it's very expensive. Also financially, it made me work harder, because like I cannot be satisfied with status quo, so I need to work a lot harder so that I can like fill in the gaps, and like to fully realize my potential, but then I'm still very lazy. But I think as of now, my guideline is that I'll try to work at least like 10 to 14 hours a week, okay, for lessons. My maximum I've ever clocked was like, I think a good like 15 to no maybe 18 to 20 hours, and that's a lot already. I swear, like a week, 20 hours is a lot, because it's only from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m., right? So that's about like, I try not to work every day. Sometimes I give myself off days. Yeah, but I have about 2 to 3 lessons a day. I think 1 to 2 lessons a day. Maximum will be 3. Sometimes I push it to 4. And I'm like, I think the maximum I ever had was 5 on a Sunday. Wow, that was so tiring. But at the same time, it was like, okay, that means that I can actually survive this. And it actually means that it's doable, but it's very tiring. So with this, I have to cultivate the habit of like working a lot more, so that I can have more for rainy days, and also especially for rent. I become more like, you know, accountable for myself, and to not be a lazy worm. Okay, so as much as like, um I'm not staying with my mom, so sometimes I still do drop by. Sometimes on certain occasions I still go back, like Chinese New Year I do go back. Sometimes like, if I need to stay for certain errands for like maybe my sisters or something, I still go back. I feel like the entire dynamic and the relationship is a lot better. So I feel that it is still the right decision for me, because I think we have a lot lesser friction because of this, and she really appreciates my presence more. Although this is one step that I think that not a lot of people can do, I think that this is what I have done. So if you guys want to do the same, I think you really need to calculate your finance, because it is a very big like financial jump. A lot of people will be like, "You're very stupid. Like, why do you rent? Like, you're wasting money." But sometimes your mental health is worth the money. Like, if you cannot stay at a place, and if you cannot like be whoever you are, and if you have to always listen to someone, and especially I hate the term "this is my house," I don't think I can live there forever. If it's a short while, it's okay, but imagine the next, I don't know, 5 years or so, I cannot. Especially I already know that we have very different values. It's very hard to convince someone every day. Sometimes I do talk to her, I can convince her for a good like 1 to 2 hours that she's okay, but then the next day she sleeps and refreshes like some like NPC, you know. She'll just come back with me like, "Can you stop cosplaying? Can you stop makeup? Can you stop all of this?" Then I'll be like, "Oh my god, I just wasted 1 to 2 hours talking to you, and you didn't even get anything through your head." That's not what I want, right? So yeah, I think that nonetheless, my mom is still a very like, she's a very headstrong person. As I've mentioned, like she didn't really like cry during my dad's wake. I know that because she thinks that she is the head of the family now. She has the duty to protect us now. So she is very in charge of that. She made a lot of decisions for us, and I'll never look down on her or anything. It's just that I feel that we have very different personalities, and that is why I chose to move out. Okay, I guess that's all I have talked about today. So I feel that even though certain things happen in life, right? I think, as I've mentioned, there's always a lesson to learn. So even though that, and I'm very glad that the cat is still alive. I feel like it has triggered certain things, a chain reaction, of course, and so as to move and also to grow as a person. And I feel that it's a lesson in itself, and I have grown to be more independent and to work on like calculation and finances. So for the next episode, I'll talk about living together with friends, maybe problems that might arise living with friends. And yeah, I think, is there anything, I don't know if I can say anything juicy, because we are still kind of friends. Yeah, but yeah, I would say there's definitely some conflicts while living together. So let's just leave it at that. And wow. Okay, I guess I'm just gonna go for it. Okay, so I'm gonna go and expose a story of living with a friend that was allergic to cats but still stayed with us. So that is the prelude for the next episode. And yeah, that will be all. So thank you so much for today's episode. Thank you for watching, fellow Shadow Cats. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope to see you guys in the next episode. Bye.